to with Rani madam.
This is the worst fear of a presenter actually. When they start speaking, suddenly network goes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, sir, for the interruption. Hello, a very good morning to everyone. I, Rani Singh, welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar, Director of SVIIT, Dr. Anand Rajawat, all the visionaries of directors, head of the institutions, faculty members, students present online here, and a special welcome to the guest speaker of the webinar, Mr. Akash Jain, FSI Specialist Solution Architect, APAC, Amazon Web Service. Welcome to Sangam 2021, an alumni reunite portal, a techno-social relationship to continue with our alumni to improve our bondings. Today's topic of the webinar under Sangam 2021 is experience sharing and career opportunities in cloud. Before beginning the event, let us virtually light the lamp of knowledge and wisdom in front of Goddess Ma Saraswati. The lamp also shows everyone how to rise upward and dispel darkness. With this beautiful thought, I request technical team to virtually light the lamp. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Anand Rajawat, Director, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Information Technology, SVVV, to throw light on Sangam 2021 and deliver welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rani. Very good morning to all. Dear Akash Jain, FSI Specialist, APAC Amazon Web Services, Dr. Upinder Dhar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Santosh Dhar, Dean SVVV, Moderator of the session, Professor Rani Singh, Mr. Vijay Prakash, Mr. Jay Surana, Mr. Jubair Mirza, coordinators of the program, head of the institutes, head of the departments, faculty members, and my dear young friends. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all in fourth session of Sangam 21, Alumnus webinar series on experience sharing and opportunities in cloud technology, organized by Sri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Indore. As we all know, alumni are the brand ambassador of the institution they graduate from. We have seen many institutions declaring the list of their notable alumni as a way of connecting their success with what the institute has provided them. However, in this era of social networking, the connect with their past students doesn't stop with this. Institutions have realized how a strong and a positive relationship with their alumni can benefit them socially, academically, and professionally. A strong alumni network by itself can be the best source available for building relationship, both business and personal. However, with the presence of many alumni groups on various social networking platforms, the attention and time spent by the alumni on each of them gets diversified. It therefore becomes important to bring them under one umbrella, as it lets the alumni, students, and institute to collaborate and communicate on a single platform. The aim of Sangam is to develop and nurture strong bonds between alumni, students, professors, and other stakeholders locally and globally, and engage them with the university through programs and services to contribute in shaping its future. Objective of Sangam 21 is to provide opportunity for professionals and academic interactions via networking among SAAA alumni to mobilize resources for academic and career support for SAAA students. Student alumni program helps university to establish value while enhancing the academic experience. Students benefit from the advice and guidance from experienced professionals, and alumni remain connected to the university. Today, we have with us Mr. Akash Jain, FSI Specialist Solution Architect, Amazon Web Services, and alumnus of the Vaishnav as a speaker. During session, he will focus on various aspects related to the cloud technology. I am delighted to welcome Mr. Akash Jain. We are grateful to you for providing time for this session. Dear students, I request you all to fully utilize this opportunity and develop your skills. I am sure this will be a very exciting and knowledgeable journey for you all. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you. Over to you, Rani.
Thank you, sir. Before inviting our alumnus and guest speaker of the webinar, I would like to request Mr. Jay Surana, Assistant Professor, SVIIT SVVV, to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Akash Jain. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rani madam. Akash Jain is a technology leader with 17 years of experience in architecting and implementing critical workloads across industries. He leads the technology initiatives for digital banking, open banking, and core banking, modularization across APSC for Amazon Web Services. He is an author of a dozen external publications and is a regular speaker at AWS and other FSI events. Over to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to listen to the words of Mr. Akash Jain. I invite you, sir, to start the session. A small request to the participants: if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box or QA session. I will bring them up at the end of the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end. Over to you, Akash, sir.
Thank you. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Just give me a second. Okay, perfect. So yeah, hello everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Rupinder sir and Dr. Anand sir for giving me this opportunity. And I also want to thank Zubair sir and other organizers for coordinating and helping me out with the process. Right, so it's been 17 years in the industry for me now, and covering various engineering and pre-sales roles. And I believe that there is a tremendous opportunity with cloud, and it is changing the way IT companies hire and operate. And hence, I thought, let me do this session for my college and make you all aware of the opportunities with cloud. So with that, let me move to the agenda, right? So I will cover my journey, how it all started from college and where I am now. I will give you an overview of what is cloud, job roles in cloud, skills needed for cloud, and how you can prepare. And then we can have Q&A. And we have enough time for Q&A within the session as well. I will take breaks in between, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. So before when I do sessions, right, I kind of do a poll to understand my audience. So if you all can go through this link so that I understand who are you in terms of whether you are in a first year, second year, third year, which year you are in, and what kind of challenges you are facing, right? So if you can all go to this link, you can either scan the barcode or you can type the short URL. So if you can do this, I will wait for maybe 30 seconds. And you don't have to put your name there. You can put some random numbers. A name is just field there, but you don't have to put your actual name. I will not use that anyways. So can you all go through, and Zubair sir or Rani ma'am, I mean, can we talk to students, or it is like all are on mute?
Sir, you can only talk. You can only
Okay.
do the webinar. The students are not eligible to talk. They can raise a question only.
Okay. So I will wait for maybe 30 seconds, and can I see the chat also, whether people are kind of able to access the link and then fill the survey?
Yes, sir. You can see the chat, and you can see also question and answer.
Okay, then let me go and check the chat. I think I'm sharing, so it might not come. Chat. Okay, I don't see. So give me thumbs up once we will finish it, so that I know you're done with the short poll. There are some 3-4 questions. You're able to access the link, right? The chats are disabled.
So chat is disabled only for the students, not for us, not for panelists. You
Okay,
may
I can
put the
see.
answer link
I can
in.
see votes are coming. There are 8 right now, but let me see. So there are 150 participants, which I can see here, right? 170. And this will help me understand how shall I pitch my presentation, because if there are not many people who are aware of cloud, we can see beginner is 50%. So, okay, 11 guys, fast. 14. I will give 20, 30 more seconds, so I know. What is your knowledge level of cloud? Beginner, mostly. What are you expert at? Web and mobile development, mostly. I don't see machine learning much. Analytics. Okay, I see biggest fear as well, which is clear. And 94% are in final year. Okay, so I think most of the people are from final year, which is good, so that this session is more towards them. But third year, you don't lose out. Okay, this is good. I can come back to this later. So let me maybe start, and you can keep updating this. But I think I'm getting a trend that mostly there are final year students, and then a lot of people are beginner or not worked on cloud, which is okay. And most of the folks are kind of expert on web and mobile development, and their biggest fear. Cool. Okay, so I have some data, but then I can go back once we have more details, right? So let me start. So I want to start with my journey, and the reason being, right? So the reason I'm walking through my journey is to share my experience around how it looks like when you are out of college. And this is a journey of an average person like me, starting with a below average company and reaching to the one of the best companies in the world, right? So if I can do it, you can do it too. So if you see, I got graduated in 2004 as a computer science graduate from SVITS. That time it was called SVITS. Now I know the name is changed. But yeah, way back 17 years back, it was called SVITS. Now, so as part of my engineering, there were a few companies, because that time I think .com boom was there in 1999, but then there was a fall, right, in 2001. A lot of companies were not doing on-campus hirings. And there were a few companies came that time, 2 or 3. I cleared initial rounds, but then yeah, they didn't get through. So I didn't have a job when I graduated, and because of my financial condition, a lot of friends were going to Pune or Mumbai, but I was not able to go to Pune or Mumbai also to search a job, right? So I had a few options in hand. Either look for a job in Indore itself and join that. So I did that. I joined as a lecturer in engineering college, and I was asked to teach data structures and operating system. And believe me, teaching is one of the toughest thing, because you have to understand a subject very well before teaching. And while in those 3 months, I used to prepare like 4 to 5 hours for a 30-minute lecture, and that helped me actually understand those concepts which I was not clear when I was a student. For example, like data structures or operating system, or I mean language itself. I mean, I did some projects as part of my graduation, but then when you have to teach someone, you dive deep into the details, right? So I got a lot of learning in those 3 months. And I always wanted to do a corporate job, right? So I decided, once I have the knowledge, I had some money in my hand, I decided to move out and go to Pune for looking for a job in a corporate world. And there also I gave around 10 written tests from different companies, rejected in various rounds from first to last. I didn't get a job. And again, I had a choice, because I didn't had kind of my money was reducing in terms of, because I need to stay in Pune, we have to pay rent and other things, right? So I decided I need to do something else. I mean, I decided to join a small company called Neosoft, and they took some brain bench tests that time. It was very popular. So I cracked those 2 tests, because after giving so many aptitude tests and technical interviews, I had I had good amount of knowledge. So I cracked that. It was a very small company, 20 people, 20 employee overall. And I was asked to do coding in PHP, Java, Python, Ruby. I mean, imagine in a small company, you have to do everything, right? So you learn various languages. I used to work on Linux, Windows. I was a developer, tester, support, everything. I mean, you cannot say I will do just development. I was taking customer calls also in production. So that's the beauty of a small company, where you get exposed to multiple things in a very short time. And that learning helped me a lot, and still it is helping me, because I was doing everything there. I could go to production system and deploy things, right, myself, which you cannot do in big companies. And that company now is a CM level 5 company, 1500 employees, grown big, but then that time it was very small company. Learned a lot. And then I decided to move to a bigger company. It's called Tesco. It's the world's third largest retailer in the world. And I kind of they came to Mumbai that time for hiring, and only they picked only 2 folks. One was me, and I think most of that attributed to my skills which I learned in Neosoft. And I joined Tesco, did various roles there. I mean, I had 4 promotions where I was a developer, senior developer, and then there is a hierarchy, right? You kind of become a manager later on. And I was managing a team of 17 folks there. But then I didn't like management, because I felt like I had to depend on other folks to complete my thing. And it is personal. It is not like management is a bad thing to do. But I didn't like management job myself. So I moved to an individual contributor role as an architect. And what I want to tell you is that, I mean, you can switch roles in your journey. It doesn't mean you have to do one thing. If you don't like something, you can always switch things. You don't have to keep doing things just because other folks want you to do. And I learned a different domain. It was a retail company, to learn retail. And then I decided to move again to some other kind of greener pastures, right? So I joined Honeywell. In Honeywell, I was working on video surveillance systems. A lot of hardware and IoT was involved with Honeywell. And again, top-notch company, but then somehow coming from Tesco, the work culture was very different. In Tesco, there's a lot of independence given to each individual, and Honeywell was more hierarchy driven. That was like 6 years back, I'm telling. So I felt like I'm not fitting into the culture of the company. and I decided to leave after doing 1.5 years there. Very good company, technology wise, all good, but it's just sometimes take a call whether you're culturally fit for the company or not. And then finally I joined Amazon, and my first 12 years were in engineering. I was developing products from scratch, and in Amazon it's a completely different role. It is all about going to the customers and talking about how they can use Amazon Web Services and move their products to AWS, right? So it's kind of a pre-sales where you go and help the sales team, but you do technology sales, right? So I go and talk about AWS platform, and how they can use AWS platform to innovate and move their workloads to cloud, right? So very different role. I've been doing from 5 years, enjoying it, and and that's where I felt like while working on with Amazon Web Services that I think I should do a session for SPITS kind of students to tell them what is cloud, and then how you can use that for your getting a job or growing. So and another reason for walking through my journey is, see, I started with a small company, and there is no harm in starting from a small company. You learn a lot. If I would have joined some other company, my journey might have been very different. But my Neosoft experience helped me getting into Tesco. My Tesco and Honeywell experience helped me cracking Amazon's 9 rounds. So it is all builds up. So whenever you do something, there is a kind of you get the outcome of that a little later. So if you have to learn anything from my journey, right? So I would say always think long term. And one example of that is look for a job where you can learn, and don't look at salary or other perks for at least first 2 years or first few years. I could say. So look for jobs where you can learn. I mean, if somebody is not paying you anything, that's fine. You should learn for first 2 years, and then your talent will take you, or your learnings will take you to wherever you want, right? So always think from that perspective. Don't go behind going in a big company or going for a big salary. It should be always how much you can learn in your first job, and it can be a very small company, right? So it reminds me of that Three Idiot movie dialogue, right? Kabil bano, right? That's very true. So any questions? But yeah, I know I cannot take questions because chat is disabled. So let me move on, and maybe organizers can stop me if there are any questions. So one question which comes to the mind, right? What is cloud computing? Okay. So before answering what is cloud computing, let me tell you how it was before cloud. So let us go back 10-12 years. When I was working for Tesco, which is a retail company, right? And I was working for the e-commerce platform and their loyalty platform that time. So for a retail company, festival seasons are very, I mean, kind of is the time when you get a lot of load. For example, in India, when we have Diwali, a lot of shopping happens, right? And if you see in UK or Europe, during Christmas, a lot of shopping happens. So Tesco was a UK-based company, right? So we had to plan very early. So if Christmas is in December, right? So how do we need to do a capacity planning in terms of how much load will be there in Christmas so that our systems can cope up with the load. And I'm telling 12 years ago, right? We used to plan 4 months in advance. So in August, we used to say, if we have 100 servers in production and we need 150, let's say, so we need 50 extra servers. So we have to plan from August to get those 100 servers. Now to get those 100 servers, you cannot get in a day. 12 years back, right? So you have to fill a procurement form, send it to Dell or HP or IBM, whoever is giving those servers. It will come in 2-3 months, those servers. Then the system administrators will configure those servers, install them, right? And then we will install our software. It was a 4-5 months. It would take definitely 4 months for that whole process to happen. Now imagine if you can get those 50 servers within a minute. I'm saying within a minute, if you get those 50 servers, what you will do. And you pay only for that 2 weeks of Christmas time where your systems are used, and you're not paying for rest of the year. Because once you buy the server, 50 servers, you have to pay, you have to keep, because you have bought the hardware, you have to keep with you, and you have to keep paying for that, right? So there is no pay as you go model. And that's what cloud does. Cloud gives you power to get those 50 servers within a minute, and you pay only for your usage. That is what cloud computing is. And it is all about on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet, right? So you just go to the AWS console or any of the cloud providers console, and you say, I need 50 servers, I need 50 Windows or 50 Linux, Ubuntu. You choose the operating system, and then you get the service, and you shut down after 1 hour. You are not charged after 1 hour. But if you buy them, you have to do a lot of capital investment, and that is the problem which cloud has solved. And it is very difficult whether you are all able to gauge that, but this is what cloud has changed the entire IT landscape, and the way company thinks, because now you can be more agile. Previously, those things were taking 4 months. Now you can do in a minute. And it is not about agility alone, cost saving, right? So you can save a lot of cost. You are not paying as a hardware, you're just paying for whatever you're using. And most important is innovation. Earlier, when I was a manager, I had to get one server for my dev team to try some, new features. That server, I need to fill an Excel sheet. Okay, this much compute, this much storage I need, and that server came after one month to me for my team to use it. Now I will just go to AWS console and spin up a server, and my team can use it. I mean, imagine how much time saving we are doing. And I not one server, I can do so many servers, and my team can kind of run whatever they want. And that's where innovation can be speeded because of cloud. Another example, you might see a lot of innovation is happening on machine learning. You know the reason why? If you go again 15-20 years back, all the innovations in machine learning used to happen either by big firms like IBM, who were doing research or who were building supercomputers, or by the universities in US, because they can afford to pay that much money to get those supercomputers and do crunching of data. But what cloud has done, it has given the power to the student who is sitting in a library to spin up a GPU, a higher GPU kind of virtual machine where he can do machine learning training. That was not possible 10-15 years back. Now everyone can do complex things like machine learning or grid computing through cloud, and you can see the outcomes, right? Alexa or any visual recognition systems. If so many things have come now who are based on machine learning. So that's the power of cloud. Moving on, right? So there is a research firm called Gartner, and Amazon is not the only cloud provider. There's a Microsoft, Google, Alibaba, Oracle, Tencent, and IBM all have cloud. But from last 11 years, Amazon is on the top, and I'm not biased here. I work for Amazon, but then it doesn't mean this slide is more about that there are other cloud providers, but from maturity wise, Amazon is still on the top. And Microsoft is also catching up. Google is also doing good. Alibaba is mostly in China. Oracle is struggling, and IBM is also struggling. So yeah, if you have to choose, I would choose the top 3 here. Now coming to the cloud business value, right? Last year, $312 billion were spent on cloud. Imagine, right? How big is the opportunity? In 2022, it is going to become $400 billion. And by 2027, $1 trillion will be spent on cloud. And these are the enterprises company who want to move to cloud. So when they want to move to cloud, they need people who can work on cloud. So that's why it's such a big opportunity for students to look at skilling themselves on cloud. Such a big opportunity. I mean, I have not seen any other business which is growing like this crazy. And this has changed the way your TCS, Infosys, or any other company is thinking about cloud. So now there is no big or small company, because cloud has given power to all the companies. So if you join a startup, it is as good as you join any other company, because both have power of accessing cloud. Earlier, Infosys, TCS have their own data centers, but now because of cloud, everybody can kind of do things on by getting an account on cloud, right? So it has made the game even, and very big opportunity. Again, I'm emphasizing on that because I have not seen any other business just growing like this. Now I've copied some of the newspaper articles because you might say, no, what about opportunities, right? So you can see this is from Economic Times or Business Line. 1 million cloud opportunities by next year, and you are just knowing Java will not get you that job, right? You need to know cloud, and I'll tell you what does it mean. So what are the job roles in cloud? And the first one I want to talk about is being a cloud engineer. And it is not different from being a developer. So when I passed out, there were only 3 languages: Java, .NET, C. You need to choose one, and then yeah, you can try to get a job. But now the scene has changed. You need to know so many things, right? But among them, I would suggest, if you want to choose a developer role, choose one language you are super strong on. Nobody can touch you. Choose another language, I would say like Python, which can help you do automation, machine learning. I mean, it's all-purpose language. You should definitely know Python. So 2 languages at minimum you should know. And the most important part of cloud engineer is knowing cloud native development or cloud knowledge. What does that mean? You should know how to deploy your code into cloud and use the cloud more efficiently. But there are so many services available in cloud which can help you scale your code or your product, which can make it more available, right? So you need to know what services of cloud to use to enhance the product. And if you don't have that knowledge, you will struggle, right? So you need to have that cloud knowledge along with language knowledge. You cannot just go, I know Java. I mean, if you see any job opening now, they will say knowledge of AWS, GCP, or Azure is preferred. Very difficult to get through resume screening if you don't know cloud. And to the fact, because I was a partner solutions architect, where I used to help top partners in India skill on AWS. They are skilling all their resources to cloud, because all other people are very traditional language based developers. They have to reskill, otherwise they will not be in a job role for a longer time. Second comes, so when you look at a software development life cycle, right, from a product perspective, so you build a product, and then it goes through the DevOps pipeline, where you do testing and checks and other things, and then it's deployed into production. And there is a separate team which comes and manage the production, but that line is getting thinner now, because developers, like companies like Amazon, developers have to also do support, right? So it's not like there is a separate support team. Developers have to manage the product, in the production environment. So, but there are other companies where you will have a cloud support engineer role. So it will be more around supporting the workload on production. One language is enough for this role. You can choose Python or any other language. Here, your deep coding knowledge is not required, but you should know cloud very well. DevOps engineer, you should know the entire DevOps pipeline, how to configure using the tools, and a lot of demand for DevOps engineers as well, because a lot of testing folks have moved into DevOps role now, because there is no testing team, separate testing team now. All developers have to test. So most of the testing team folks have moved to DevOps roles now. Site reliability engineer, this is a new role which has come in last 5 years, where companies like Netflix or Google, they have this role where it is more around when there is a huge load, how the application scales. So they are on the operation side as well, to check whether the product is scaling, plus they fix also. So they do some development as well to fix those issues, to make sure that the product scales based on the demand which is getting. So very new role. Again, you require a lot of experience to be in this role actually. So yeah, for a fresher, cloud engineer, cloud support engineer, DevOps engineer is a role for freshers. But yeah, site reliability engineer takes some time. You have to take some experience before you apply for that role. Another category is data management. Very popular again, a lot of jobs, and this is going to grow. All these jobs, there is no scarcity. I'm telling you, I've been into this industry now from 5 years in cloud. These jobs are not going away. So many jobs. You have to be skilled to this job to do this job, right? So for example, data management, this is a new kind of job called data engineer, where you have to build data pipelines. So it's very similar to DevOps, where data comes in your data lake, right? You need to curate the data, right? And then after curation, some fields will be removed, some fields will be added, right? So there will be a pipeline before it reaches to the data analyst to data scientist. So from where the data is coming and to the data scientist, there is an entire data extraction process and massaging process which someone has to manage, and that's what data engineers do. They build the entire data pipeline so that data can be ingested, curated, and sent to the who are analyzing the data, like data analyst or data scientist. Data analyst is more about analyzing existing data, right? So a lot of companies hire them to say, okay, tell me how we are doing on our Christmas sales, right? So they would kind of see the data and then tell, okay, we have done very good on toy sales, clothing is down, and so yeah. I mean, very difficult to get the initial. I mean, data engineer fresher, definitely you can get. Data analyst, it requires some experience, but then it is all about how much experience you can show for data analyst. Data scientist, again, it requires more knowledge than just graduation. A lot of folks do PhD actually. I see a lot of these roles require you to do PhD or at least kind of a PG. But otherwise, I have not seen many companies hire data scientists without a specialist degree. And it is all about exploring new ways of capturing data. So data scientist is all about understanding kind of data, and plus what data can be explored from the existing ones, right? So it requires a lot of mathematical knowledge, statistical knowledge, and requires you to do specialist education before you can take this role. But it's in huge demand. We don't have people who are data scientists right now. There is so scarce right now to get a data scientist because it requires a lot of education before you kind of become a data scientist. And this again, data management, I'm seeing a tremendous growth in the field where you don't get folks either of data engineer, data analyst, or data scientist. Very few folks understand this. So good kind of place to start learning. Architecture, this is more around building the entire product architecture. This role, I mean, you would typically see after 3-4 year experience, or 5 years, 6 year. I mean, it depends on which company is hiring. But as a fresher, difficult to get in an architecture role. But then once you start developing things and you know operations, then you can be an architecture. And that's the usual path people take. Once they're developer, they become architect. And again, good scope for this role, but not now for college going students. Security professionals. Moment you talk about cloud, security is day one. Any company you go and talk about cloud, they will say, okay, how secure cloud is. So a lot of requirements around security. And again, not many people understand how to secure cloud workload, right? So a lot of demand. And you might not get a cybersecurity expert kind of a role, but any thing to security as a fresher, if you join, you a lot of scope later on, because only 5% of enterprises have moved to cloud. So 95% are still going to move to cloud, right? So yeah, I mean, imagine if you have 5 folks who are doing cybersecurity, you need 95 more in coming years. So kind of tremendous opportunity in security also. So yeah, these are the roles at a high level, just to give a view of what kind of cloud roles look like. What are the skill sets required, right? So coming to skill sets, hard skill, I think you all know, right? So you need to knowledge of one of the major cloud provider is must. Either you should know AWS, Azure, or GCP. If you don't know, very difficult. You have to get a knowledge of at least one cloud provider. Coding skills, I would say 2. One is not enough. One in the sense you can dive deep into one, and second for the and doing automation and other stuffs, right? So, and developer tools knowledge you should have. Moving on, operating system knowledge, pretty basic. Networking, very I mean, a lot of emphasis is going on networking actually when you look for cloud roles. It can be TCP versus UDP, ports, security around networking, right? How HTTPS works, how TLS protocol works. So that knowledge is very important when you are looking for cloud jobs. And you should go back to your, maybe I think it was in year 3 or year 4, I don't remember now, networking subject, and look for those. What are the use cases where people use UDP versus TCP, and you should know that entire TCP IP stack. Very important if you are looking for cloud job. Databases, one SQL database, one NoSQL, must. I mean, there is no negotiation there. You should know one RDBMS system and one things like MongoDB or DynamoDB, right? Cassandra, any NoSQL database you should know, and one SQL. For data management jobs, it is more into analytics, right? So Hadoop is dying now, if you have not heard. It's a news, but then yeah, it is dying. So now you should look at Spark. If you are not reading Spark, then you are missing out big thing. So I would suggest Spark instead of Hadoop. And on machine learning, I would suggest Python is must, no negotiation. And then it depends on how much deep you can go into machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow. So it depends on you, but then if you choose any of these, a lot of opportunities. It is just based on your interest, and there is no one is better than other. There is nothing like that. A lot of opportunities, like I said. It depends on how much interest you have in each of these kind of skills. Now, most important, right? Getting hard skills is easy, right? You kind of attend some course or try, you get it. But I have seen, and I've taken a lot of interviews myself in 17 years. If you don't have the soft skills, it is very difficult to grow. And the first one, which I kind of rate, is attitude. And in general terms, it means the positive or negative orientation of a person in a given situation. So it's all about how you approach a failure or a success, how you behave with your friends or colleagues in a demanding situation. And if that is not right, I've seen people where we have taken 8-9 rounds of interviews in Amazon and we have rejected just because we don't think he's a culture fit for, he or she is a culture fit for Amazon. You might be a rock star on hard skills, but if your soft skills are not there, you might crack 1 or 2 interviews, but then you won't be able to survive in a company. So please focus on how you kind of shape yourself, how you behave, and your attitude will take you a long way. I mean, even if your hard skills are not that great, that's fine, but focus on soft skills. Second is communication, and it is not about speaking better English. It's about clear communication in whatever language you choose. There should be clarity in your words, no long sentences. You should be to the point, and you should only speak when you are adding value. Otherwise, it's a noise. It's a noise if you are not adding value to the discussion. Finally, networking, and I would say I will rate it very high. And there are so many other soft skills, right? I'm not a soft skills kind of expert, but then why I put these 3 is networking is very important. And what does networking mean here? Not the technology networking. It is about how you keep, how you make friends with your seniors, how you make friends with your teachers or your friends, what is your influence area, right? And whom you go for kind of seeking guidance. And my first job I got through my senior only. So for Neosoft technology, which I got, I called my senior and said, I'm struggling. And he said, come and give interviews here. So my first job, because I know one senior, and he asked me to come and give interview. So that's the power of networking. If you, and once you have a lot of experience, like in my current role, all the calls which I get are from reference, and somebody will call me, Akash, do you want to join us? So less of LinkedIn or Naukri.com. It will be all networking at your later stages. So please have friends, and it's not like you have to go and start making friends, but have a connection with your seniors and your friends and your teachers, so that you can go them if you are struggling at some point of time in your life. Okay, how to prepare? I know we have only 12 minutes, so I will quickly wrap it up. So how to prepare? There are free AWS, Azure, and Google trainings available. So you don't have to pay for getting this. And you go to AWS websites, free training. You kind of take those trainings, and if you have to pay also, think from a investment perspective. It is not a cost; it's an investment which you are doing on yourself. And you would realize very late that paying 2,000 rupees now will kind of get you a lot of money later if you invest in the right kind of certifications or learning courses. So based on my experiences, I have seen a Cloud Guru, Linux Academy, or Udemy are good courses for learning cloud. Actually, a Cloud Guru bought Linux Academy, so now there is only one. But a few months back, there were two. So if you want to learn something, go to Udemy, Linux Academy, or any of this, and buy courses and kind of do it. And when you go to these portals, you would see some cost, but then if you should open the window in incognito window, because they keep track of repeated users and then quote you higher cost. So open it in incognito window, and you will see a lower cost. Join cloud community groups. Indore should definitely have cloud groups. So join them, learn, right? And get certified. Get certified in any of these courses. It will help you. If you are not getting, I would strongly suggest get certified in any of the courses. And then finally, you should practice, practice, and practice. There is no shortcut without practice. I mean, very difficult to succeed, right? With that, I know I did a little fast later, but then I want to show you. I'm done with my presentation. I want to show you how it looks like, right? Because so okay, this is the AWS console. So when you log into AWS, there's so many services. Imagine compute. If I open this, it's called EC2, Elastic Cloud Compute. If I say launch instance, it's like launching a server, right? You can choose whether you want a Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, Windows, right? You can choose here. And then you can say how big you want, right? So in terms of virtual CPUs and memory, you can choose. I mean, I can go to any level, right? And then let's say I just choose and say next, and it will spin up those server, and within 30 seconds you will have the server. So that is the kind of power of cloud you have, and it is just one service, right? Imagine machine learning service. You can convert your voice to text to voice within a single API call. We have so many services, right? And all the cloud providers have similar kind of services. So you have so much of power in your hand when you kind of use cloud. And that's where I wanted to suggest you that you should think about certifying on cloud, so that there are so many jobs which can be filled. Okay, I think I will stop here because I want to take questions.
Okay, Akasha, there's a question in the chat box. Freshers can get into security in the cloud.
Yes, if you have a certification, and I don't see many openings on security for freshers. But if you choose, let's say, support engineer job, and then you can internally transfer to security operations, because security requires little experience before the security team put some pressure onto the job, right? But it doesn't mean that there are no security jobs for freshers. If you have, let's say, CCIP, which is a security certification, or a cloud certification, you can try it. But yeah, it will be difficult for a fresher to get a security job or a data scientist job. It will be difficult, but it will be easier once you are into the organization to move into a security job. But you need to either go as a cloud engineer or a cloud support engineer, DevOps engineer. So that path I would recommend if you want to join a security role.
Thank you, sir. Students, if you have any questions, you can type in QA section, or you can just raise the hand. We will take you in the panel list.
No questions? Everybody understood everything? All set?
One question is, sir, which is more in scene, AWS or DevOps?
Sorry, what is your question? AWS versus?
DevOps.
So see, DevOps is a kind of a skill set, right? So AWS is a cloud provider. We cannot compare both, right? A DevOps skill is required to work in AWS. Without, I mean, AWS DevOps skill, you can apply to a data center. So both are complementary, and there is no versus thing. So DevOps is all around setting up the entire development pipeline. Once the code is checked in, how it will move to production. So it is about that, and that pipeline can be in the customer's data center, or it can be in any cloud provider also. So I mean, DevOps skill is great, but then AWS is more of a medium where you would use those skills. Any more questions? Guys, I'm here to help you. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, sir, I don't think there's any question. Okay, sir, one more question.
There is a question. It is hard to get AWS certificate, and how much time it takes to learn? So is it hard to get AWS certificate? Hard, yeah, very subjective term. So if you, I would say if you do courses using, let's say, Cloud Guru or Udemy, and try some hands-on, then it will be easy. And there is a lot of certificate. Also, we have a lot of, I mean, we have a beginner, which is AWS associate certification. Associate is a beginner, and then there's a professional. So I'm not telling you to go and do a professional certification, which is super hard. Just do associate one, or do just cloud practitioner one, very basic one. So you don't have to do the complex ones. Do a basic one so that you have a good understanding of those terminologies. You have to put some efforts, but it is not hard. If you do a online course and try hands-on, read FAQs, preparation will be there. I mean, at least you have to prepare, let's say, 1 hour a day for 1 month, or 1.5 months to clear the beginner level. But that is an investment you are doing for getting a good job. Another question is, will Java be more useful in cloud or Python? See, Java is a evergreen language and Python is as well. So which one? And I said both you should learn. If should not choose one, because why Python and why Java, right? Java, a lot of enterprise companies, all big companies use Java, right? So that's first thing. Python, everybody uses Python. So Python, and it will help you in data management jobs as well, because every data analyst, data engineer, or data scientist should know Python. So Python is given. I mean, you should know Python. Now, whether you should choose whether I should learn Java or not. So Python should be always there. But then I'm not recommending one language over other. I'm saying you should know 2 languages, and Java is very popular. Python you should know. And Node.js is also good. Node.js plus Python, you can do that as well. That combination also works. What are the business opportunity for startup in cloud computing? Yeah, that is a question I was looking for. Very good question. And I would say just so many opportunities. And I'm glad you asked this question. It is not about getting a job. It is about, there's a big business opportunity lying there to have a startup also. I've seen personally a lot of companies who started born in cloud. I mean, they don't have any experiences, but they started in cloud. And what they did, they will just manage customers' environment, right? So customers have products, they will come and manage, and they are taking deals away from TCS and Infosys. Imagine, because they understand cloud better than TCS and Infosys. And this was like 4 years back, and now that company is kind of bought by L&T Infotech. So this is one example, but there are so many companies who are looking at cloud for cost optimization. There are so many models which startups are thinking, but very valid point. You can start thinking of how can you start a startup using cloud. Is there an opportunity in cybersecurity? Okay, we have done. As a fresher, should go for a software development or a cloud computing. See, you are doing software development on cloud computing. There is no separate thing. You will still do software development, but using cloud technologies. You will not be deploying in on-premise. So it's not versus kind of a thing. So is the Amazon Twitch channel good for learning AWS? Yes, definitely. You can do that. What is the future of cloud native development and what skills required for this field? I think I've told you cloud native development is the future, and skills I've already mentioned. Are AWS courses for free? Yes, a lot of free courses, not everything, but a lot of free things available. But so many questions started coming now. Huh? How to prepare for Amazon Web Services exam? I've answered this question already. So I'm faster than the chat questions then. Just kidding. Okay, so yeah, I hope this was useful. You can always drop me an email and I can paste my LinkedIn profile as well. You can ask me questions. I'm happy to help. And please start preparing yourself for the next adventure outside of college, right? And it's all about investing in learning. That will count a lot. So kind of best of luck to everyone. And I am sure you will all do good.
Thank you, sir. With this, we came to the end of question answer round. Now, I request Mr. Zubair Mirza, Assistant Professor, SVIIT, to propose word of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya and Team Sangam, I wish like to thank our special guest, Mr. Akash Jain, for accepting our invitation and find out time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. My sincere thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upinder Dhar, for his constant motivation to us. I would also like to thank Dr. Anand Rajawat, Professor and Director, Sri Vaishnav Institute of Information Technology, for their support and guidance to organize this webinar series. Also, I wish like to thank all HOI, HODs for their presence in the webinar. I thank all the participants for attending this webinar. I'm sure that they would have enhanced their knowledge of career opportunities in cloud. My special thanks to the entire technical team for the efficient coordination of the webinar. Last but not least, my sincere thanks to all the team members of Sangam, Mr. Vijay Prakash sir and Mr. Jayesh Surana, who worked tirelessly and made this event possible. Thank you. Over to you, Rani ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I request everyone to kindly raise for national anthem.